Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on another episode of The Chop Shop. I am your host out of Syracuse, New York, Sarah.
Your undisputed EM2 trivia champion, two trivia champion, DMC Grizzle in the house.
And from the United Kingdom, presenting your future trivia champion, hailing from Luton, England, presenting the world's greatest infotainment expert analysis. He is the one Walshmeister, Luke Anthony Walsh. Bada bing, bada boom. How we all doing? Another week in wrestling. Let's get straight into it. Sarah, what we got on the card tonight?
Well, the big news happening today, Jimmy Uso arrested for DWI again. Not even right about the 2-year mark.
I mean, what do you say about this? It's so unfortunate. I mean, it's nothing to make light of. Substance abuse problems are no joke. Welcome, Orlando.
Hi, sorry.
That's right. We just started about 30 seconds ago. Getting into of course, the big news of the day, Jimmy Uso getting arrested for DWI. About 2 years since his last one.
Yep. We'll see what happens. I mean, hopefully maybe Roman can save him, but...
rumors I'm hearing is you're not even going to address it until tomorrow.
At the end of the day, it couldn't come at the worst time. Jimmy Uso, of course, having the history behind it, and it couldn't have happened at the worst time. I mean, yes, when it happened in 2019, he was, of course, part of the Usos, and they were in the SmackDown tag team mix. Of course, I think it's fair to say, you know, what happened with Xavier Woods and Paige sort of came to his rescue around then, to certainly to take the heat off him. But yeah, when he's involved with quite possibly the biggest storyline in WWE, and then the crowds are coming back in a fortnight, he is going to get nuclear heat when crowds are going to finally be at his mercy for the first live SmackDown at Money in the Bank. And going forward, if WWE do decide to keep him on, they might decide to suspend him, and who knows what will go from there.
I mean, I suppose you could find an interesting storyline way to write him out of it if you are going to take him out. At least there's that. But I think it's awful timing. It sucks, and I hope that one day he realizes that he can't do that anymore. I don't know what else to say, really.
Mm-hmm.
Orlando.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I mean, for what I'm reading, they're not even going to address management's not even addressed until tomorrow, as they're recording 2 nights or Monday's coming up episode of Raw. They're recording tonight, as the lease for the building they're in expires this weekend.
So we shall see what happens.
But
We'll probably see him. Maybe if they can't take it no more, they'll probably release him. We'll see. But
I think they're more likely to just let him sit out his contract at home before they release him. Otherwise, he'll be a big name somewhere else. Someone else is going to take a chance on him one way or the other.
But also, you have to think about Jay, though. Do you think Jay is going to probably be like,
I mean, he hasn't been punished in the past for anything that Jimmy's done, even though he was involved in it. But I mean, at least I think with the first time or second time, I don't remember. It's hard to keep up with it, but I can't see. I mean, I can totally see them, punishing him for that. But I don't think that they will with Roman's current stance as being the most interesting thing to watch on the main roster.
I believe this is Jimmy's 4th incident.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
pretty
I
much?
mean, they're probably going to take his license away, I guess.
Yeah, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Luke's connection just dropped. We'll see if he comes back on. So WWE announces that this week is NWO week as far as programming-wise. They'll be showing plenty of NWO promos. Kevin Nash is on Broken Skull Sessions. Peacock's going to be airing a bunch of other NWO stuff. They didn't really talk about it on Raw, so you kind of wonder, what they're really taking kind of as a big thing.
I think it's more for the network. I think it's probably for the network, for like fans overseas that have still the WWE network. Unfortunately for us, we have to go through Peacock to see it. So,
yeah. I mean, I guess maybe this is also another like desperate merch grab or something like that. Because I mean, I don't know. Like I don't even know what T-shirts they have right now that are hot that I would want. I mean, any of this, all the merch I was buying was all Bray Wyatt stuff, and he's not around. So
he should be back soon. He's being advertised for TV locally, a couple markets in August. So,
well, that's great because WWE never false advertises.
No. It's card subject to change.
Right.
I mean, you never know. Maybe with the live crowd, they probably would bring Bray back, but whatever.
Hopes and dreams subject to change.
As far as for NWO, is it the anniversary? Has it been like 20 years? How long has it been?
22, I believe. I believe it was 98 or 99.
It was more than that, though. No, it was 96.
96, okay.
Okay, so the 25th anniversary then.
That would make sense.
I know they had that event as one of the headline events. When I logged on to Peacock this morning to go watch something else, the replay of that Bash at the Beach was actually one of the featured events.
Which I find strange. If it's like their 25th anniversary, wouldn't they make a big deal out of it? Because it really changed the business. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
they just need something to do. They're so bored.
There's a few extra NWO shirts at the warehouse. Let's make an NWO week.
I mean, I don't own a single piece of NWO merch. I never did.
Me neither.
Because I bought into it as a kid. So I mean, I was like, they're evil, but this is really cool. But I had an awesome DDP shirt. I wish I could find it. It's great. It's got a giant diamond on it.
Right, so let's get to. I know Daniel's been waiting to talk about this one. Omos is set to make his singles debut next Monday on Raw against Eric of the Viking Raiders.
So speaking of the NWO and Kevin Nash and things that have to do with his former characters, I really wonder if they're going to follow the Diesel arc of him because he came in as a tag, he get two dudes with attitudes, and then he won the Intercontinental title from Razor Ramon, and then I guess he beat Bob Backlund later, to become world champion. So is this a way to make Omos a transitional champion in the future?
Transitional. If you're saying Diesel, he had the belt for a year, so
I know, but it was it's universally agreed upon that it was an incredibly disappointing run, and that was not all his fault, necessarily. That was a really kind of weird time for WWE that everyone talks about being awful, and I actually really enjoy that year of wrestling because that's kind of the year I got into wrestling. So if I liked it in 1995, you knew I was going to be a fan for life. But I do wonder if they're going to put like a minor title on him or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do with this.
Do you give him a lengthy or a short, United States title run?
I don't know if he's ready yet because I don't know. Like we haven't really seen how he seems like he's impressive, but we haven't really seen his work yet. So
it's very true.
So I don't know.
But I mean, Vince is known to put titles on guys his size, though.
Well, but I mean, it doesn't seem like that because, I don't know, because like Braun, they didn't give him the belt until Roman left, and it was during the pandemic. So Braun should have been a champion before. Like his best run was 2017, 2018. They should have given him the belt at least, make him a transitional champion, but they didn't do that.
I just want him to come out wearing leather pants and a leather vest. If I can get that little small detail as a shout out to Diesel, I'll be happy.
That'd be funny. All right, so we got a couple returns from injury coming up. So we had MVP make his return off injury this week. Next week we have Sheamus making his in-ring return after his injury
Technically today. Technically tonight.
today. And then also making her comeback. It was filmed for, or I guess it wasn't filmed. It was a dark match from Raw. But Tegan Nox is back.
Yeah, I think that she's what the charging battery thing is supposed to be on NXT. I'm not sure though, because they're pretty good at swerving you sometimes. But I think that's what's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. For Tegan, like it's interesting the women that they're using. They're using Toni Storm, Tegan Nox, Shotzi, and Scarlett.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of blondes.
It's a lot of blondes.
I mean, well, Shotzi has green hair, and then Tegan has like
She's brunette,
yeah, she's a brunette. So
like a dark brunette.
but for me, I just feel like Tegan, I don't think she's ready yet, or she has unfinished business in NXT. Like because like with Candice LeRae, what she did to her, I think they need to do like a grudge match.
I don't think they were looking at her for main roster. I think it was just, okay, she's not committed anywhere. Let's bring her in for her tryout, for Toni Storm's tryout match.
I don't think so.
This is all set up for something amazing though, because her original feud with Dakota Kai was kind of disappointing, and I wasn't really a fan of the way that they booked it. But if you want to have Dakota Kai somehow take the belt off of Raquel and then have Tegan Nox versus Dakota Kai for the NXT Women's Championship, I'm all about that. I think that would be awesome.
I mean, it would make sense if, like, if she's the one that takes the belt off of Raquel.
I think that's what's going to happen here. I think we're going to eventually get Tegan versus Dakota Kai for the belt. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, Tegan Nox, the battery is finally coming to 100%. It was confirmed by PW Insider, and just the excitement to see her back. Bear in mind, she had a very unlucky injury last August. I think it's fair to say that if she'd not been injured, she would have played a predominant role in the latter half of 2020 on NXT. So I think ultimately now's her time to come back in the fold. And we were talking last week on the podcast about the downfall of the women's division. Tegan Nox is somebody who can really be the first step towards fixing that division.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We
Could
also
not agree more.
another return we got. However, this one was not off injury. Zelina Vega made her return on Friday Night SmackDown, saying a lot of disappointment to people.
Well, people need to take some seats. I'm sorry. Like you have to understand that this is a business. Sometimes, you may have that talk, but if the money is right, I just, for me, I'm supporting her, whatever she wants to do. So I'm happy that she's back,
Well, the good news is that she lost to Liv Morgan, which is fine. But that's the good news in all of this. If this is what it actually fucking took to get a singles win for Liv Morgan, then fine. I guess I will accept.
Well, she's getting a push though, at least, because there's the story is that because the story is just that she's trying to show Sonya that she deserves to be in the match.
But doesn't it hurt that she came back this week on SmackDown without fans around her? I mean, it'll be the unfortunate thing. Obviously, in 2 weeks' time, they are building such a massive SmackDown to return to fans. With somebody like Zelina Vega coming back in front of fans would be a huge pop to add to the list. So it's unfortunate timing, but I guess seeing her back, fanfare or not, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they react. Of course, WWE apparently apologized to Zelina Vega for how she was treated, but
and then they booked
all well and good saying sorry. It depends whether they'll give her the run of the pencil.
She agreed to the match, okay? Let's not knock somebody if they agree to the outcome of the match, okay?
I mean, what's she gonna say? No.
Huh? She could have said no. She could have been like, just give me a backstage segment, or at least.
I don't know. I don't know that she's in the place to re-sign with them and then start making demands. I'm pretty sure she's going to show up and say, "Yeah, okay," to whatever they tell her to do.
Well,
But I mean,
She's
well, of
probably just
course
happy to
not.
be on. Probably just happy to be wrestling again too.
sure.
Mm.
But I hope they let her keep her Twitch page because it is very
Nope.
entertaining.
Well, no. Tommy Ann is using it. Her husband, he's using it. So I think that's probably the deal. She's like, let me come back. At least let me have my Twitch for my husband. At least because the Jew all released him.
Do you think she's sitting there typing the script the whole time? And he's just reading
It's
it.
not even that. WWE are so blind and so dumb to not play into
No,
the
and
Twitch
they're also
deal.
petty. Let's
You're
not
so
forget
right,
they're petty. They're so petty.
To think that the size of Twitch has grown over the last 12 months during the pandemic era, they could have so played into it. Up, down, down could work spectacularly on Twitch if WWE do the right deal. And it's so unfortunate they haven't been able to play into that.
I
No,
think
because
they should stay with
they're
YouTube though. They're doing very
no,
well.
but they're
there.
just mad because a lot of the wrestlers are getting income out of it. They're just like, hold up, you're using our name, and then you're getting like 100% of that income.
They
No,
should just take a cut. Like, just take a cut and let people enjoy their lives. And, I mean, I understand if you don't want to see someone in a storyline at 9:30 at night, and then they're on Twitch 1 hour later talking about whatever, and then hanging out with the person they were just in the storyline with. That I get. Even though we all know kayfabe has been murdered, slaughtered, and killed a long
well then
time
they
ago.
need to stop doing these documentaries where they show these people hugging each other and be like, oh my god,
Right.
that match was amazing.
I mean, you already
I mean-
give all of that away on the network, so what's the problem?
No, that's the thing. Is because they're doing it. They're controlling the narrative. That's the problem. They don't want nobody else to control it.
Like, these storylines will be horrible. All of them.
I'm sorry. Sarah, you have any comments?
No.
Sorry, I got a excited there.
No, it's okay. Look, we're all passionate
Yeah,
fans. We just want,
I think at the end of the day, I think at the end of the day, we just Selena Vega should not be an Eva Marie on SmackDown. Like, there needs to be something done with her now that she's back, and it can't just be, oh, we'll just have her in the mix, and you'll forget that she came back 2 or 3 weeks ago after Money in the Bank. There has to be something new they have to bring to the table.
I'm just happy she's back. In my honest opinion, I'm just happy she's back.
I just hope, yeah, and I sincerely hope that she's happy.
No. I think she is happy,
Okay.
and I know she's like enjoying, like giving these trolls something to talk about because people just need to leave her alone. Okay, just leave Zelina alone.
So we'll get to some sad news here.
No.
We got 2 wrestling legends in the past week who have gotten, I guess you could say, some slight negative health-related updates. First off, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff is apparently suffering from late stages of dementia. One of his sons had posted a video online, which has since been removed, but you can tell he's not looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
The other being, this came out today or yesterday, Terry Funk is having some issues.
Also dementia.
Yes. I was on the latest edition of his podcast, Don Morocco, also a WWE Hall of Famer, discussed the health of one of the greatest, and in his opinion, the greatest wrestlers of all time, Terry Funk, knowing that he's living in a assisted living facility and dealing with dementia as well.
Well, I would like to say
this is go on. I'll let you go first.
Oh no! It's all good. I want to hear what you have to say.
This is going to sound a bit sideways, but there's logic to this. I mean, I hope that, and the unfortunate day that we do lose Terry Funk, that medical scientists take his body and his carcass and they use him for medical research. Because what that man has been through in all of his years, FMW, been there, done it, not a scratch. ECW, 'twas not a scratch. And whilst it's unfortunate now that he's now developed dementia and is in assisted care at the moment. I mean, he's defying all expectations. I mean, I know if you go back all the way back to 2007 to He Who Shall Not Be Named, in that case, it was CTE and it was about concussions and it was about head trauma. But when you look at that case compared to somebody like Terry Funk and I guess in the future Mick Foley as well, it's like that old smoking debate, isn't it? Like that, people will say I've smoked 10 a day for 50 years and been perfectly healthy, to those who smoke 2 a day and they could develop lung cancer. It's always that anomaly that fascinates not only I guess the casual, but also the experts who look at any case like that. And I guess with Terry Funk, the man is just a beautiful lunatic, and it's sad that he's going through it, but we wish him all the best, and we hope that he does have a good quality of life towards the end. But yeah, what a man, and for Paul Orndorff, Mr. Wonderful. I mean, the history that he has, the story that he could tell. Yeah, we wish him and his family all the best. Daniel, what have you got to add?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the only thing I can make light of this in is that I hope that Terry Funk is walking around thinking that he's Chainsaw Charlie somehow, and that's entertaining to like hit his family. But it's really sad, man. I mean, he is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, and if you don't believe that, I will be happy to send you several links of matches of his to watch. Terry Funk versus Oneida. Oh my God. If you've never seen that match before, or I think there's a couple of them actually, but
just the whole King of the Deathmatch tournament, just watch it all from start to finish. It's just madness.
I mean, it's like you said, like he made it through 2 of the most gruesome promotions, especially for their time, and even now, and managed to come out of it. Fairly okay without, several scratches and bruises, but no major injuries. He's a great wrestling mind. That's all the great situations that he's been in, and how supportive he's always been of younger wrestlers. Always happy to put somebody over. Like nobody that really, I don't know if anyone understands and loves the business more than he does. And and that's saying a lot when you think about also people like Mick Foley, as previously mentioned. So I wish him and his family all of the best, and I hope that they know how truly fantastic he is, and we all super appreciate him.
I'd like to think in whatever facility he is at the moment, he's telling the story about all the 741,263 times he retired in front of a crowd and made money out of each and every single one of them. And then all of a sudden he comes up with the retirement death match concept where it's just full of barbed wire and walking canes just non-stop. Yeah, maybe I'm fantasizing too much about Terry Funk, but yeah, just certainly the generation today that has grown up watching wrestling will have no real understanding for what wrestling was. Even with the comeback of FMW in the next couple of months, that nothing will compare to what we saw in the 90s and through the king that is Terry Funk.
It's true.
Yeah, I wish them all the best for their families and such. For me, Terry Funk, I have a lot of respect for him for what he decided to do. Like, he had a legendary career, and he decided to go to ECW, which a lot of people question him as to why he did that. But he saw value in ECW, so that's why I respect him for that. To try to help out the brand, because he knew that if you help out that brand, it's going to help the business. So
Paul Heyman said it best in the opening speech to Barely Legal. It was the first pay-per-view. He said Terry Funk gave his life for the next generation, and with an opportunity like that, ECW's first pay-per-view, for him to have given his seal of approval was such a huge moment for Paul Heyman at that point in his career.
Exactly.
Yeah, the world is surely gonna be hurting the day that he does pass.
I don't want to get older because then like a lot of our favorites are gonna just like pass on or it's just
But
unfortunate.
imagine living in an assisted living facility and Terry Funk comes walking through the door. How exciting would that be?
I'm just wondering if there's any of them that know him. Like it's like, oh my god, you're Terry Funk, right?
Surely somebody down there.
I know at least somebody.
I mean, I'm sure that he's somewhere in Texas, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty well known in most parts of Texas, especially amongst the older guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All the best.
Yes.
So next up, Adam Cole was on Corey Graves and Vic Joseph's podcast After the Bell. And they asked me, he got talking about, who he'd want to face in Hell in a Cell match. He said, of course, the dream would be Shawn Michaels. But considering how unlikely that is, the other person he'd love to face in a Hell in a Cell match, Kyle O'Reilly.
Of course he's gonna say his best friend. So.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so again, going back to last week's episode, we were talking about what do you do with Baron Corbin, what do you do with mid carders, and how can you change the pencil for them? But here we have the curious case of Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Roderick Strong in the Undisputed Era. Is that their main roster call up is inevitable in the next 6 to 12 months. I think their time in NXT has surely run. They've had enough War Games matches. They've done everything that they need to do down in NXT, and of course the breakup now is continuing to unfold, especially tonight as we record this with the Great American Bash. But Adam Cole is somebody who, if you brought him up now, what do you do with him? Because like the mid card just isn't deserving for him. The main event slots, as we again talked about last week, are very much pre-booked for the next 4 to 6 months, where Adam Cole coming in and winning it would be incredible. Not necessarily, impossible, but it would be stunning if he was to come in to beat someone like Roman Reigns, if he used to carry on with the belt, or even with someone like Bobby Lashley. So what do you do with Adam Cole?
I just like the fact that you think that they book 4 to 6 months WWE.
Well, hey, if we're getting Goldberg and John Cena back at SummerSlam in the 2 world title spots, anything is possible.
No, I mean, okay. So for Adam Cole, I think they need to give him. No, I think he should stay in NXT. Honestly, he could be like what was Shawn Michaels when he came back from his injury in 2002, where he just stayed in Raw. He never went anywhere else. He never went to SmackDown. Like every once in a while, he'll appear on SmackDown, but he stayed mostly on Raw. So, so I see him staying on NXT, honestly. So
Who else has he got to face down in NXT?
Nobody.
well, they're the newcomers, Yeah, Samoa Joe. Like now we have Samoa Joe. I've heard Daniel Bryan may go there, so I mean, they could have a good feud. Who they just signed? What was his name? I mean, they could really do Johnny Gargano again. I mean, like because I don't see Johnny Gargano getting.
They still got off release.
Yeah.
I find it remarkable that since he's been to NXT, I mean, he was working with the hottest tag team in the world right now, and who have started the hottest promotion in the world before he got there. So I do find it remarkable that he's chosen to not participate in that. And I mean, you have to think that eventually that's going to happen, that he will end up in AEW. But but I mean, he is at this crossroads now where it's like, yeah, what do you do? And do we really want to see a disappointing main roster run from Adam Cole, who's so fantastic, who has the greatest catchphrase in possibly all of wrestling right now? I mean, come on. Like, I mean, he's marketing gold. He's an awesome wrestler. But I just don't know if Vince will ever see him as more as a shorter guy who's a really good wrestler. I hate to say that. It's Adam Cole, baby.
With Vince, it's upper mid card at best.
Yeah, but I mean, like, look at Daniel Bryan. Like, he's a great wrestler, and he really was a top tier type of person. I understand with the whole,
but Daniel Bryan Daniel Bryan had never in a million years was going to beat Roman Reigns. But let's face it. I mean,
you're talking about right now with his storyline, that how Roman is booked right now, which is the hottest thing right now. Which I'm saying before that, I'm saying like Daniel Bryan, when he first started, he was a really good wrestler, and then he became very popular because he really changed up his character. Which that's the thing that sometimes some of these wrestlers, they don't really do in WWE, about changing their character sometimes. You know, sometimes that's why they get a little stale if they still stay the same. You know, honestly.
I'm going to throw a complete curveball here. The only way that they really get sensible if they reform the Undisputed Era and again save the tag team division by having them hold all the gold. I think that's the only plausible outage.
To me, the mistake
by bringing all four up and make a storyline out of it.
To me, the mistake that they did is just like they never really did the Bullet Club with the four that they had at the time. They had Finn Balor, AJ Styles, and the Good Brothers. They could have easily formed that. Hell, if they want to, they have three of the leaders from Bullet Club. They could create a new club or create like a new stable with AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Adam Cole.
Remember the first 3 weeks that the OC was around? It was really cool, and I was excited. And then they killed it. But
I mean, like, they were just trying something because, like, it's weird that first they were teaming with AJ, then they were teaming with Finn. So I don't know what they were trying to do with them because it seemed like they wanted all four of them to be together, but it seemed like it didn't, like, I don't know if maybe Vince didn't see them in his eyes, like, clicking for him. But, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, to me, I think AJ, Finn, and Adam could really work well together.
What about Evolution?
I don't know.
Look at Batista.
We'll never know. I mean, it's just like I feel like he'll probably stay in NXT, like, you know. So
let me bring up two other names in that same level and same sort of brand of conversation. That is, of course, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. How would you sort those two out?
Well, Tommaso Ciampa did say in an interview recently that he wouldn't mind going to the main roster now. So I don't know what changed his mind now. I don't know if because like he knows for a fact it's going to happen, you know, or maybe
maybe his neck is feeling better.
I mean, I like him with Thatcher, no doubt. But I mean, if we're realizing that it's getting stale and there's not much for him to do there, he has to realize that.
And Timothy Thatcher, I'm sorry, like I think he would be a good fit in the main roster. Honestly,
I like Timothy Thatcher. I'm a fan.
Yeah, and I don't mind them being a tag team. I mean, like they could use them as a tag team. That would be interesting. You know, calling them up. Now with Johnny Gargano, I don't know because like I don't know if his wife wants to go to the main roster because that's the thing. Like, you know, right now he has a great stable right now with the way. You know, so it's a very great stable right now. So I don't know. I mean, because it's not like he doesn't want to go to the main roster either. So
imagine if they pulled the trigger on DIY though.
Oh,
they tried that, but then that's when Tommaso Ciampa got injured. So that's the thing.
They don't know how to book tag teams. They just don't get it. I mean, it's they, you know, let's give the titles to the New Day. We don't know what to do. I'm more than happy with them being, you know, tag champions forever as far as I'm concerned. They should just always have belts as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, I don't know. It would be awesome. I mean, if you want to talk about Candice LeRae, give me Alexa Bliss and Candice LeRae as women's tag champions. Think that would be awesome.
Give me Shotzi and Alexa Bliss.
Yes, that's fine with. Yes, let's do that.
Speaking of a little fantasy booking, I was listening to an interview with Karrion Kross today, and they asked him, what two main roster people he'd want to face. So imagine this feud here: Karrion Kross and The Fiend Bray Wyatt.
I've been talking about this for months. It's all right there. It's gonna be.
I mean, they've
amazing.
been trying to book that when Alexa was with The Fiend, and then they were trying to do a mixed tag, with Scarlett and Karrion versus them. But they didn't do that. Yeah,
I'm going to save all my fantasy booking to the next segment we talk about, but let's just say there's plenty of fantasy booking I could suggest in a minute. You're in for a treat. But just to draw straight back to your question there, Sarah, was who Adam Cole would face inside Hell in a Cell. This is going to be a big bold prediction. They should swap over the cages. I think we should get War Games in the main roster and put Hell in a Cell down to NXT. I think it would certainly freshen things up.
Beautiful.
I like that.
Wrestling. Hey, put War Games as the Survivor Series main gimmick and have Raw and SmackDown as a 4v4. That would certainly give that pay-per-view a new lease of life and would certainly change things up. Hey, even keep it as Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT, a good old-fashioned three-way War Games match.
Yeah, what's the Survivor Series you've been excited about in the last 10 years? I mean, except for the NXT involvement.
2016 was the last best Survivor Series. But by no question. But even then, that was Lesnar against Goldberg. I mean,
well, no, 2019 was really great.
I was saying to a friend of mine
when you had the three brands, I thought that was really
when
great.
they had the three brands, that really helped. But
Mm-hmm.
But
the cowards that WWE did deny us of Jinder Mahal against Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, which was a huge disappointment.
I wanted to see the match. I just wanted to have Brock just destroy Jinder.
Shante! It would have been spectacular. But yes, in the last 5-10 years, it's just been.
Don't hinder Jinder, okay?
Don't hinder the Jinder. Do not hinder the Jinder.
Anyways.
So I'm going to read a statement to you guys. I'll get your reaction, and then I'll give you his response. Vince Russo to the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes. Sorry, carry on.
No. Then, do you want? I don't want to hear Jim Cornette's 2-hour-long rant.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
that's the edited version.
You secretly want to hear it. Like you don't have to like him as a person to want to know what he has to say about it.
No. Here's the best one. Hold on. Imagine this: Vince Russo and Jim Cornette both in the same class.
They induct each other. They're inducting each other.
Oh fuck no! They're not going to do that. Hell no.
Have a match.
Last man standing. No.
Yeah, you want to make Hell in a Cell interesting again. Give me Jim Cornette versus Vince Russo. Hell in a Cell.
Anyways,
Hell in a Cell on a pole match. That's my fantasy booking.
Okay,
let's even bring in Judy Bagwell. Let's make it a complete bonkers madness.
But all honesty, Vince Russo, like what he has done, like during the Attitude Era, I think helped WWE. So I mean, kind of does deserve it because like he made them so much money.
If we are going to talk about him versus Cornette, like, and which person should go in first, though, I mean, he was never on-air talent for WWE. So I mean,
we just lost Sarah.
I'll still come back. But I mean, like, but think about it. Like, he was like Cornette was on-air talent, and Russo was not. But now we can't take Russo's, achievements. Like, again, it's a situation of you might not like the person, but this is what they have to say, or this is what they have done, and you have to acknowledge it. Not in the Roman Reigns sense, but you know what I mean. So I'd rather see Cornette go in first. I feel weird saying that.
But remember, Vince Russo was on-screen talent in WCW.
And that's fantastic. And we could put him in the WCW Hall of Fame if you like.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
Then we lost those.
Yeah, I like a point I was just going to come in with, Daniel, was that Vince Russo made wrestling bonkers, and I think whenever I watch a pay-per-view, certainly as a fan in the modern era, it's far too serious. You know, there's very few characters that make wrestling fun. Now, the Fiend is amazing. Dexter Loomis is amazing. Like Cameron Grimes is just like it's genuine fun. You know, they don't have to worry about their moveset or their potential about whether they can go for the NXT title or go for the main roster. It's just about being entertainment, and there are so few entertaining characters that have entertaining storylines. And Vince Russo, as much as he is a saint and a villain within the wrestling community, is still the maverick that gave us the Attitude Era, gave us Judy Bagwell a pole match, gave us the spectacular crash of WCW in 2000. Sure. I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, obviously it's I guess you guys earlier on were talking about the NWO with my connection dipped at Bash to the Beach 1996. Bash to the Beach 2000, Vince Russo fired Hulk Hogan on the spot. I mean, it's beautiful madness. And, I think if Vince Russo goes in the Hall of Fame, then Jim Cornette has to induct him and vice versa. I think it's very much it's very much a Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon moment that there'll come a time in the future, hopefully in the next 10 or 15 years, where they'll go, you know what? Let's shake hands like men and let's concede that what's done is done. Our hatred to one side, what our impact in the wrestling industry is there. Let's leave bygones be bygones and accept our Hall of Fame rings, which is what we deserve. But yeah,
you're very hopeful today. I'm surprised. First, everything booking for 6 months. Now you want Jim Cornette and Vince Russo to shake hands. That I think hell will freeze over before Jim Cornette will shake his hand again.
I would like to say one thing. If someone is going to play, the devil's advocate in this situation, is that you can argue also that the Attitude Era was a team effort and it wasn't all Russo, although he did have a lot to do with it. And B, wrestling was so hot at that time, and you look at a lot of the mid card, booking from Raw, especially in those maybe third or fourth match of the night. Like a lot of it is kind of crap, but the characters are so good and wrestling is so hot at the time that at certain points it felt like you could have put anything out there and it would have happened. Now I think there's I think more of what you said is actually true, but I think the people that are going to argue against that, I think that's what they would say, amongst all the other negative things they would say about Vince Russo. But yeah, put him in there, let Corny induct him, and then they can have a match afterwards, Hell in a Cell, on NXT.
Do you guys want Vince Russo's response to him going in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Don't give a fuck. No. I don't give a shit.
So this was on the It's My House podcast. Vinny Russo had to say this about it. He said, number one, I don't think they ever in a million years would reach out to me. That's number one, because I have been way, way, way too outspoken concerning how I feel about the company and the product and certain people there. So that's number one. They would never come calling. Number two, I would have absolutely no interest. I would say thank you, but no thank you. I don't need to be validated by Vince McMahon to consider my life worthy. I need to be validated by my wife, my dad, my kids, and by my friends. That's what I need validation from, not Vince McMahon.
You got to give him credit for always working.
But number one has nothing to do with that. You know how many people hated Vince McMahon, but then they returned to the company? Case in point, Bret Hart. Number two, that makes more sense. Okay, like he can decline it every single year, if they ever ask him. So whatever. But him
If
being
Bret Hart
outspoken.
can come back, he can shut the fuck up.
Thank you, exactly.
Case in point.
Exactly. Anyways, but. mhm. Okay.
All right.
Last one.
So last two bits. These two are good news. Dana Brooke has announced on Instagram that she is getting married. She said yes to her boyfriend, now fiance, Ulysses Diaz, who is a professional boxer who lives down in Miami. So congratulations to her.
Hey.
I'm sorry. Any wrestler who gets engaged, you just go full on Macho Man and go, "Ooh yeah, Mr. Elizabeth, we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have the biggest, the cream of the crop." Yeah, Mr. That's like genuinely, as an engaged man myself, I want to be full on Macho Man, Mr. Like that. That is the limit of wrestling weddings. And then just somebody gives you a snake as a wedding present. That's how it goes.
I missed that opportunity when I got engaged because I should have just spent the entire day walking around going.
And the last little bit here, where we will end with, two wrestling stars have announced they will be getting married on New Year's Eve this coming year. Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green announced the rescheduled wedding date. They were supposed to get married last year on New Year's Eve, but with all the COVID restrictions still in place, they postponed it.
So it would be 2 years when they got engaged.
Yeah,
I believe so.
But as a person that got engaged and then had to move their wedding, I fully understand that. And not to mention, they both lost their jobs. Like, I mean,
She got so
have
salty.
had a crazier time. And
Listen,
I'm so
Chelsea
happy.
got so salty though. Did you hear her recent podcast? She's like,
He has every right to be salty.
She's like, I went from the main event of Impact, and WWE doesn't even know how to use me. Which she makes a point.
I mean, talking about wrestling tropes, I mean, you either can go for a Macho Man wedding or a good old fashioned heel turn at a wedding. Just have the priest completely deck you or choke slam you on the wedding day, or just have a 24/7 title change in the middle of the ceremony. Why not? Let's have some just real shithouse madness. We're talking about Vince Russo. Have Vince Russo show up for no apparent reason, just to whack you with a steel chair and have a bride on a pole match with a Viagra on a pole as well. Why not? That's the best way to celebrate your day.
Well, I hope that James Mitchell officiates the wedding. I mean, who else would you get?
Who else would you get?
That's it. I mean, there's no better option.
Well, you've seen B2E, Vicky Guerrero or Ryzen maybe.
Yeah, I would accept Ryzen. If I could, you know what? I will accept Ryzen on the main roster if you pair him with James Mitchell, because I would laugh really, really hard. I would be cool with that. Have a Mikey Whipwreck appearance for fuck's sake. I mean, like, just one night. It would be great.
Here's a great question. Is James Mitchell the greatest manager to never have been in the WWE?
No, he's great in TNA.
We could do a whole episode about that.
We'll probably just have to save that for later, maybe.
Save that for a weekend discussion show or something.
Yeah, there you go.
You got me thinking now, Luke. That's really good.
Yeah.
Really good
so there you go. Like, think about it, and then maybe we'll discuss it later on, and then we'll have a good conversation about that.
My first answer is to say yes. Man, that's really good. Would you consider Beulah to be a manager, or was she more of a talent?
She was. They were considered her as a valet, though, right? Because she was.
She's technically a valet. Oh man, that's really great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna think about this for a long time.
Ooh.
There you go.
I got one to possibly debate that. JJ Dillon.
Oh, Whoa.
The greatest manager that started. Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean, yeah, no, that's true. Yeah.
Let's end that there, and we'll save that for a live discussion show at some point.
Yeah.
All right. So don't forget to check us out on bucklebombentertainment.com. Find us on Twitter at bucklebombent. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Of course, you can find us on all your podcast sites, Apple, Spotify, not part of the Blue Wire Hustle Network. Find us on Instagram and, of course, Facebook on the page. And we now have the Buckle Bomb Entertainment Group. Find us there. Chat with us, whatever you like. Daniel, where can they find you?
DMC Grizzle, all the good stuff. You catch me here in a couple of weeks with Gary Joe on All Elite Talk. Sarah was on there recently. Go check out that episode. And I can't remember. I think it's next Friday that we're doing it. So,
Nice.
or maybe 2 Fridays from now. But anyway, check that out.
Well,
I'll let you know on the next podcast.
Yes. And you can find me at Orly1985_BBE. That's ORLLIE1985_BBE. Go ahead and give me a follow because I'm going to the AEW show in Miami. So I'll probably take over the Buckle Bomb ENT Twitter handle to show some pictures.
And live tweet what's going on.
Yeah, of course. Can't wait. I can't wait.
By the way, that's July 25th. All Elite Talk, Gary Joe.
Nice. All right. Well, have a great night, everyone.
Bye.